Hello, hello, Edson Oliver here. This is the DNN monthly chat, and we have the full house today, all the usual suspects, and that's really it. So I'm gonna go through top to bottom here from my screen. Mike, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Scott,
Yep, I'm here.
awesome, and Joe now in high def. How are you, Joe?
I'm here just like Scott, but I'm here differently.
Okay, so I mean, if you listen to me coughing, I mean, I'm not dying. I'm on Cepacol and I'm on Benylin, so I'm okay. So just make sure. But my voice is a bit, it's more annoying than the usual. So just want to warn you about that. So let's get down to business here. We don't have, uh, you know, a special guest. Everybody here is special, but we don't have, you know, an outsider. Let's put it this way. We have the usual suspects. Now, let me get started by the blog posts. Let's cover that. Actually, there were not that many blog posts this month, to be honest. Somehow, I mean, things are a bit quiet there, but there are some worth ones to mention. So the first one I want to mention is the one from our friend Dave Poindexter, and yet another NV Quick love. Let's put it this way: NV Quick Pulse is the next NV. Again, I lost track of how many NV Quick stuff Dave and his team are putting out there. But the last one that I saw was NV Quick Pulse, which is a mobile app for iPhone and Android. And it's a mobile app talking about DNN. And it's a way for you to keep track of what's going on with the many projects out there that are related to DNN. It might be DNN itself, it might be, you know, extensions, plugins, you know, however you want to call them. But any project related to DNN that is out there on Git, you can track them via this app. I've downloaded, I've used it. Looks very slick, looks very nice. So if you want to get the pulse of what's going on in the DNN space in terms of contributions out there, I mean, there are lots of stats that this app will show you. There's a video for that, you know, that will walk you through it as well. And yeah, quite a nice way to keep track of what's going on with the different, you know, extensions, themes as well, open themes that are being tracked on Git. So again, you can get a lot of interesting information. I think that maybe even the source code is available here. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, it's actually open source as well. So the actual thing is open source too. So if you want to check the code, it's there on GitHub as well. So thank you for yet another one, NV Quick Love, Mr. Poindexter. Has anyone downloaded this app yet?
I downloaded yesterday and just took a quick peek through it. Looked like there was something but like 350 different projects it was tracking. So I haven't obviously gone through all of them, but you know, it's kind of a good spot, I think, to you know, so you don't have to go finding them on yourself. I'm not sure how he's kind of pulled them all together, if there's a flag or a tag or something he's searching for, but it seems like a good central repository to find some open source projects.
Very true. And it seems that you can even fork the project from the app. Again, I'm not sure, but it's been mentioned here. Yeah, you can, I mean, do a pull request from the app. I don't know if it's from the app. Maybe he's just listening things out. Anyway, if you want to get more details, go to the post and download the app, of course, for free. Okay, that's the first blog out there. The second one here is the one about, and it's not showing up here. Okay, it's the one about the DNN website awards, and this is quite a nice initiative by the guys at Foremost Media. I'm not sure who leads that party over there, but I'm just gonna leave it as the team at Foremost Media, and it's a website for us, for people in general, to nominate great looking, great functioning DNN websites, and you nominate them, you get to vote on them, and there will be a winner of the DNN. I'm not sure if there is a, to be honest, I'm not sure if there is only one winner or if there are different categories, but actually someone mentioned that before, the actual DNNawards.com website should be there as well as one of the nominees, you know, should be, because it's very well put together. I mean, very nice, very beautiful. So again, if you are proud of a DNN website, your own website, somebody else's website, nominate them. Joe, it seems that I'm not the only one under the weather.
We have a couple of days of fall here. Actually, a couple of days of wet fall here.
Good. Okay, and am I seeing a tent, or is that just the new high-def camera?
I believe I got a fair amount of sun in your lovely country last month, and this part of my skin tans much differently than it did when I was younger.
I don't know why, but I suspect. I have suspicions. You are close to Mike, is that right?
We went up around Nova Scotia, and I'll warn people or encourage people, depending on your proclivities, the first weekend in September in Digby, Nova Scotia, is the Digby Wharf Rat Rally. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's hard to find a place to stay when that's going on if you got to Digby a day earlier than you planned.
Yeah, I think thousands of bikes show up for the rally every year. It's pretty cool.
Something we read said 8,000 bikes, which means more than 8,000 bodies, and you just couldn't even get close to downtown.
Yeah, Digby's a small town too. It's not a city. We're talking a very small town. So it's I'm sure it was tight fitting.
Yeah.
Good. So now we have the explanation of why the 10 on Joe. We can keep going here. Okay, so again, if you have a DNN website that you want to nominate, go to dnnawards.com, add your site there, and there is a timeline here. Let's see. Deadline is October 31st. Okay, great initiative. Again, very well put together, and yeah, I think that we were missing that. There were different initiatives like that in the past, but I think that we were missing something a little bit more consistent in an annual basis. Okay, another one here. 5 good reasons why we are glad to be part of the .NET Foundation. That's a post put together by our friend Clint Patterson. Again, great stuff here. He runs down why it's great to be part of that, and I can attest to that. The TADUG Meetup is part of the .NET Foundation, and the cost is covered by the foundation. We get free swag, and again, I mail that swag to the members. So great, and those were just 2 of the 5 ones that he had mentioned here. If you want to get more information, just go there, have a look why it's good to be part of that today. Again, remember that will give DNN exposure as well to the greater .NET community out there. So again, very good reasons why it's good to be part of the .NET Foundation. Okay, so those were the blog posts that I saw around. I find that they were worth exploring. And again, guys, if you have anything else, other blog posts or other things, let me know. Okay, so general topic here, DNN 922 release candidate. It's still out there. It's a month now. I have thought that within 2 weeks of of a release candidate being out, the final one would come out, but it hasn't been. So I think that we should be about to see the new DNN 922 release. It should be out at any point, but today, no, Tuesday, September 25th, it's not out yet. Okay, and again, it's a minor release, so you shouldn't expect too much stuff over there. I want to throw a point out to the group here. Whoever has had the chance to watch the virtual user conference that went on about 2 weeks ago, that was Q3, the virtual user conference for Q3 2018, and a lot of people had spoken there, Clint and Mitchell Sellers and Ash Prasad and of course Andy Triba as well. Guys, I don't know who has had the chance to look at that presentation. Anyone?
I did.
You all did. Okay. So any takeaways from your sides? I mean, I have my takeaways here. I have some points, but anything that's you guys find that is a highlight from the event? I'm gonna go top to bottom here. Mike, anything you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I only actually got to see the first half of it. I've been meaning to watch the second half. Nothing to note other than at least from what I got from the first half. Ongoing transition between DNN Corp and the community, working on processes still and starting to harden those up so that we can have like DNN 922. We can get releases out much quicker and smoother and with nice solid testing. So good to see progress is happening on that front.
Awesome. Scott, anything from your side? I mean, any highlights that you...
No, I actually didn't. I missed that, so I'll have to follow up with you on that.
Got it. No problem. Joe, anything?
I read your cheat sheet, so I'll let you give your main takeaway. I happen to agree with it probably more strongly than you wrote it.
Got it. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I just have three points. Again, great to see the community involvement, how much the community is taking control of, and now DNN Corp becoming more and more yet another member, a major one, but yet another member of the bigger community. So that's good, and it's promising. And again, we keep moving towards more and more towards that direction. So a few notes that I have put together here. One was the fact that liquid content does not seem to be going out to the platform anytime soon. Because the only mention there about liquid content was really having it added to on-premise Evoke by Q1 of 2019. So I don't know, that gives me the impression, right or wrong, I'm not sure, that that liquid content may not be making its way to the platform at all, or at least not very, very soon, because their first initiative is really to bring it to the on-premise. Again, if it will make its way to platform, I'm not sure. It didn't sound very encouraging, but I would say that to people out there that are holding their breath, waiting for liquid content to be on the platform, I would say that take some other paths, some other approaches. And actually, there is a point that I'll be mentioning in a few minutes that may help you on that. But yeah, don't wait for liquid content there. That's my first one. Second one, I was always under the impression that DNN 9 adoption had been slow, and I think it has, but it's a bit faster than what I assumed it would be. And this, why I'm saying that is because during the presentation there was a poll put together asking which version of DNN people were using, and the vast majority is using DNN 9 already. So whether you like the personal bar or not, people are buying into that, and people are moving to DNN 9, and that's it. So just a little bit over 52% of people in the presentation attending the event were already on DNN 9, and 27 were on DNN 8, and the remaining, just trickling down from DNN 7 and 6. So again, it's interesting. It's an interesting statistics, I find. I don't know if that speaks to the greater community. Maybe not, because usually who goes to an event like that are more engaged users, and engaged users usually they go up, they upgrade more frequently.
Do we have an idea of how many people were on the call, so we can kind of put that in kind of
I
context?
don't, but that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, Clint, can you help us out here, man? Just a little bit. Give us some data love here. Just a little bit of data love. We're not asking too much. So roughly, I mean, is it 500, 150 people, 20 people, 1,000? Just give us a rough number, okay? That's for you, Clint.
I would guess that 200 is probably an upper limit. Just guessing from previous things that some numbers had been discussed.
That's the magic DNN Summit number, isn't it? More or less. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a good guesstimate. I think it's a good guesstimate. But again, if we can get this a little bit more precise, it would be interesting to see, even to see how many more people are coming. Because here's the thing that again, I keep trying to assess, and it's hard to assess, but I assess based on the traffic that I get on DNN Hero, on DeskPaul. I keep trying to assess whether things are picking up, but picking up in a more general sense. Are more people interested in DNN or not, and what are the indicators of that? So again, it would be great to have some data about that, and that's partially what the DNN awareness group tries to bring to the table. But it would be interesting to have some benchmarks and say, hey, this used to be here, now it's up here. And again, I can run my numbers and have some assumptions here, which, to be honest, my numbers overall, they have been growing. So I would be assuming that this might be a trend out there as well in the greater DNN space. But it would be interesting to have better numbers about that, that could maybe, I don't know, reassure more vendors that things are improving, things are progressing, and create a virtuous, positive, snowball. No, not snowing it yet, not snowing it. A virtual positive. You got it. So that's the second one.
Yeah, I was going to say that if there are people out there who were wondering what to do, I think you'd be making a mistake if you developed a new website in anything other than DNN 9. And I guess that means 9.2.1 at this point. I actually converted earlier this year a site from blank CMS to .NET Nuke 9, and I think it was 9.1 when I did most of the work. And there were a few little glitches in the persona bar that occasionally drove me nuts, but it was not an impossible or even a difficult process. You just had to remember what not to do, or if you did that, what you had to do next in order to get what you wanted. And I have not seriously developed a site with 9.2.1 or 9.2, I guess. But my impression in looking at that is it's a whole lot better than 9. Whatever. So I think that's the way to go. And as a counterpoint, I have a client who has a number of little one-page sites that they use as a gateway to something else. And some of their one-page sites are in 5.something. They have some other sites in 7.4.2. And the complaint I was getting last week were the clients major user of these sites was complaining that upgrading to DNN 7.4.2 was horrible because the new administrative interface was so clunky. And if you remember what the administrative interface for DNN 5 is like, everything new requires some getting used to. And and I think the biggest thing with DNN 9 is, where did things go in the persona bar world?
But it's not my pet peeve.
Maybe I'll get some hate mail over this, but I think it's not so bad, and I'd say it's probably even good. I know there are people that hate it, but hey, that's the way it is.
Yeah, my pet peeve with persona bar is not so much of where things are, but really the stickness. It's just, maybe I just got bad habits of opening too many tabs and having, the SQL console in one tab, and in the next tab I would have some other pages, and not being able to do that with DNN 9. Again, that's my pet peeve. That's really the only one that I have.
Well, I just discovered last week that you can actually add pages under admin, which is well hidden in DNN 9. But if you add a page in the admin tree, it actually shows up in the persona bar.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I put a tip out there a few weeks ago about how to do that. Yes, you have that ability. I'm not sure for how long though, but yes, you do have that ability. Okay, so this was point number 2. So 1, liquid content. Number 2, and I'm talking about, again, circling this back to the virtual user conference. Point number 2, about the percentages of people using DNN 9, DNN 8, and other versions. And the third one, it's just a quick mention that was done most likely by Mitchell. I think it was based on a question that someone had, which, if you want to try to, as much as possible, future-proof your module development efforts, your coding efforts on DNN, you should be developing use MVC or Razor. So that will help to guarantee a longer longevity for your codes, depending on where things will be headed with the technology in terms of DNN, and how things will move towards a .NET Core and what will come up next. So the point is, if you want to develop on DNN, if you want to try to ensure your code will survive longer, you should definitely ensure that you're using MVC or Razor. Scott, does that make sense? I mean, from your development standpoint?
You said Mitch talked about this?
I think he did, or somebody, or Ash.
Yeah,
that makes sense, because Mitch did a session at the last DNN Con about future-proofing your code, and he gave the example of a client whose front-facing website's DNN, who needed some kind of structured content type display in a custom module, but they also needed a high-level back office type application done. And typically what he would have done before would just be to write a bunch of modules, some administrative parts and some view parts. And he said, no, what we decided to do, because we want to future-proof it for upgradability, is write the complex back office stuff in a custom application, maybe that sits behind a firewall or whatever. And then the module just simply is a thin layer that pulls information from that, and it's written in MVC and Razor. So he believes that if you're writing a complex custom application, that's the best approach to take, and not build a bunch of custom complex modules in DNN, because whenever we move to .NET Core, you won't have to refactor a huge amount of application logic. You'll just have to refactor that thin layer of that module.
Got it. Are you in agreement with that thinking, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Typically we don't. we don't have a lot of requirements like that to build like tremendous back office like functionality, like custom functionality. It's usually like, you know, some custom modules to pull data from an existing data source that might be a complex back office piece, but we don't build that part, you know. So, but yeah, we do typically build, you know, modules that are fairly simple and not highly complex. You know, for the reasons that, yeah, we don't want to build a huge monstrous application using, you know, that depends on system.web, you know, ASPX, you know, logic.
Awesome. Mike, what's your take there from a development standpoint?
I agree with that completely. I'm part of the architecture team in some of those conversations about .NET Core and what have you. And you know, there's always a trade-off, I think. You know, not every use case is going to be the same always. But if you have a very, very large project that, you know, is going to be around for a long time, and you're going to invest a lot of money into it, then it may not be a bad route to look at how you can, you know, maybe augment your DNN website with something else. And in Mitch's case there, a separate application. You know, so I think that's a good idea. I actually, I've always known that you could write Razor in DNN, but I didn't realize you could write, like your view control could be a Razor file, and in the manifest actually say, instead of, you know, .ascx, do a CSHTML. I didn't realize you could actually do that until recently. So, you know, that's where I've been going for a lot of my custom stuff lately. Or also, you know, looking at doing things with more with web services and web API, you know, and stop depending upon web forms modules. I think, you know, that'll help get you to a path that's more easily migratable in the future, whenever that time comes.
Awesome. Great. So those were my takeaways. Again, this was about the virtual user conference, and if you want to watch the whole thing, the link will be in the show notes, and as you can see here in my browser. So moving on, I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of the videos, some of the things that are partially blog posts, partially videos that have been recorded over the course of the last month. And the first one are, you know, the many DNN technology ecosystem advisory group meetings, and there were 2 in the past month. Here are the links. And Mike, you're saying that Mike, Scott, you both are on this group as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I missed those. So, Mike, did you make the last? Because I've had something going on Tuesday the last few weeks.
Yeah, I was in last week's. The week before I was away, so I missed that one. But I was in last week's, and a lot of it's been getting ready for you know, discussing the processes around 922, testing, the build pipeline for DNN, more of the transition from Corp to community. That's still ongoing. Huge progress has been made there, and the community is leading the charge on doing the releases. But you know, there's still some low-hanging fruit behind the scenes that's still being worked through a little bit.
Not that this is anything major, but is there any reason why 922 is, you know, we have the release candidate done released a month ago. Is there any tricky issue going on that release the 922 is not live yet?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's any tricky issue per se. It's the first release, I believe, that is 100% built from the community's build pipeline and release process. So, you know, just making sure that nothing's missed, and that it's a really solid release. So that the first one out of the gate fully, I know the last one, 921, it was kind of half and half. It wasn't fully deployed and built and delivered by the community. So just making sure that the first one out of the gate is a really solid release, and you know, keep the momentum going.
I think one of those things was the persona bar, how DNN Corp had organized the GitHub projects around persona bar, because if you look at their GitHub repository, it's like, what is it, admin experience, and then the dependencies are sort of trying to consolidate that make it so that it makes sense to the community. I think that was kind of a sticking point, is the community taking on that persona bar stuff and that was the least known piece of the whole build process.
Yeah, exactly. They went from I believe it was 3 repositories, or and basically put them into one. So the Persona bar, as Scott mentioned, we're in 3 spots now. They put them into one, and there's no real documentation out there, or really good handover about how all these things connected together. So just working through that process, and there's a lot of code there, and a lot of hands in the pot. So when you're transitioning through something like that, unfortunately, it's not a magic button that then makes it seamless. But it's looking good.
And also, that's the first project that has node dependencies, right? And so now I think this is the first time where we're going, oh, we probably need to update Node.js dependencies, for the React and all that stuff. So again, that was another layer of, oh, we've never done that before. Let's figure that out.
Awesome. Again, you guys answered the question quite nicely. This is the sticking point. This is the true first time that this happened. So great.
Yes, just to quickly follow up on that, Anderson, the roadmap page on DNN Software's website has been updated as well to show, because 993, I believe the date would have been pushed out a little bit as well to accommodate the delay with 922. So all of the dates for code freezes and the next release candidates and that type of thing should be updated on that page as well.
Good. Awesome. I'm going to find that guy and I'm going to post it here. Perfect. Okay. So that was the videos, the ones from the DNN Technology Ecosystem Advisory Group. Moving on here, we had about a week ago, we had the SoFried DNN User Group meeting and a presentation. I briefly mentioned about that don't hold your breath for liquid content. However, you should check this presentation put together by Ryan Moore from SoFried, and he's talking about powering structured content through DNN. And in the session, Ryan Moore presents an introduction to structured content and how you can use DNN to power external use of DNN controlled data. And it goes like that. It talks about liquid content and it runs a comparison with other data modules, data repositories like 2sex content, forms and lists, Xmod Pro. And I have not watched the video. I don't know if anyone has been there. You have, Mike?
Yeah, I was on the call. It was a great, it was really good meetup. I had to drop off towards the end, so I may have missed the last probably 15-20 minutes. It was quite good. It was a good introduction to what structured content is for those who don't know about content modeling and structured content, that type of thing. It was pretty evoke heavy for the first half. Walking through Evoke's liquid content functionality, but then they were getting into Xmod Pro and form and lists and that type of thing. So it, at least the portion that I was there for, was a good introduction for users who may not know about some of these tools.
Awesome. Very good, very good. I want to, while I remember that, I don't have that in my agenda, but I want to mention quickly. Just want to give a big thanks to Ryan Moore. The other day we sat together for about an hour, and we went through, because I put together a few weeks ago, I put together a step-by-step with some help from Mike as well on how to side grade from Evoke to the DNN platform. And Ryan and we have collaborated a little bit on how to do that with Evoke on Azure, which takes yet another level of complexity. So there are some extra steps that you have to take in case you have Evoke on Azure to bring this back to platform if you have to. But anyway, I just want to give a big thanks to Ryan Moore, and most likely I'll be releasing a video of our conversation as he goes through explaining which additional steps he had to go through to convert, from Azure to the platform, from Evoke on Azure to the platform. So again, big thanks to Ryan Moore.
Would that include how to kind of migrate, because liquid content is an evoked feature and the content is stored on Azure as well. So that conversation talk about how to migrate your content out of liquid content and into another solution?
No, it did not. It did
Okay.
not. No, this it was a conversation really about some other specifics. But if you are a heavy user of liquid content, yeah, I mean, I can guess some alternatives, but I have not, nor Ryan, I think, have gone through the process of, okay, let's pick another solution to replace liquid content. So no, to answer your question. Okay, moving on here. Beginning of the month, beginning of beginning of September, we had a meetup, the TADUG Meetup, and it was presented by Ernst Peter Taminga. He was talking about language package management on DNNConnect.org. And again, to be honest, I had no idea that DNN Connect had that sort of facility there to help people, translate the modules and extensions in general, and even DNN Core as well. I had no idea that they have that kind of facility there. So again, if you are a heavy user of DNN in a localization type of setup, you should definitely check this out. I mean, Ernst Peter, he just dives deep into the nitty-gritty, how to do things there. And again, great conversation, great presentation from Ernst Peter Taminga for the TADUG user group. Okay, and yeah, so that's it. That's the videos, more video-oriented content that I have seen over the past month. Want to start by now looking at future events here, and I want to mention the TADUG user group meeting that will happen next week on the 3rd of October, and we will have Kelly Ford talking about Prompt. Yes, Prompt has been heavily promoted in the last in the recent past, and I want to talk to him as well about where are things now, what are the plans, and he will cover the basics there, but I want to explore a little bit more in depth of what are the future plans of that initiative, which was one of the I would say premier features released within DNN in the last while. So again, really looking forward to have that conversation with Kelly Ford. Okay, moving on here. So that's Prompt, and now let's talk a little bit about DNN Summit. What is it that I have for DNN Summit? February 19th to the 23rd in Denver, Colorado. There is a call for speakers. I think it's still open or it's just closed. Let me see here. I think it's just closed. Yeah.
It's just closed, but if you are interested in submitting a session, try and submit one, and if the system will not take it, contact the organizers and you may find a friendly person. Also, if you want to be the first kid on your block, registration is quietly open for DNN Summit. There it goes again. Go to the DNNSummit.org website and click the link to register, and you should be able to register. For those who do not know, DNN Summit is a 2-day conference on all things DNN, and it is preceded by a full day of training. The training is on February 19th. The conference is on the 20th and 21st. And for the adventurous among you, the 22nd and 23rd is a trip to Winter Park, Colorado for winter activities, including skiing, snowboarding, tubing, and snowmobiling. And probably to just point out the training day. If you are interested in learning more about DNN, we have got a full menu of training classes that you can register to attend. This year, we have really shaken things up and added 2 new training classes. What was formerly module development is now 2 classes. One is Introduction to Module Development, and the second one is Advanced Module Development. Scott's going to do the Advanced Module Development. And we talked about a lot about liquid content here today. There is a full-day training session on eBook and liquid content, which will be taught by Tracy Wittenkeller. This year, Addison is off the hook. He's not doing a full day of training, but the DNN admin training is going to be done by Ryan Moore. Anthony Overcamp is doing the theming training. Will Stroll is doing the introduction to module development. And for those who would like to do things slightly differently, instead of going to a full day training class, you can go to a half day open lab where people will be available to help you with DNN issues, problems, whatever. That's in the morning of the 19th. The afternoon of the 19th will be a roundtable discussion regarding DNN, and typically that's devoted more to business-related DNN issues. So greatly expanded training program and the usual terrific 2 days of DNN conference for DNN Summit. Couple of parties, and as I said, the DNN on the slopes for 2 days of Winter Park. And you can register and buy your tickets now.
Joe, just to make sure, the slopes as well. Is all the information, all the details, the registration details, the how much it costs, everything is on the website right now, because someone was asking me details if I knew about the slopes or anything like that.
Actually, we're a little deficient in getting complete details up, but if you go to the register page, there is a good summary and all the costs are available. And if someone is not happy yet, send an email to info@dnnsummit.org and ask your questions. I expect that all the details will be up on the website within the week. But we're for the people who really want to know the dirty little secrets, we're converting the DNN Summit website to DNN 9. We got a little behind the curve on that one, so we're having to maintain 2 websites right now, and that's always a challenge.
Awesome, great. So again, thank you very much for the updates about the DNN Summit, Joe. I will, at this point, I'll be missing you guys there, but who knows. Moving on here. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, so that's my ugly face here. Let me hide myself. Okay, so DNN Open Friday. So I am personally enjoying doing the DNN Open Friday. By the way, what is DNN Open Friday? DNN Open Friday is just an initiative that I thought about putting together. It's a 4 hours window every Friday from 10 in the morning Eastern time to 2 in the afternoon Eastern time as well, of course, and where we go to Slack, and we have, on one hand, we have people that have questions about DNN. They need to know how to do certain things on DNN. They have some problems with DNN. And on the other hand, we have people that has a lot of experience with DNN. I have some experience. We have people with a lot experience over there as well contributing. So we start to talk. I think about DNN Open Friday as a dance, as a party. We all go there and someone raises their hands, they want to dance. And someone joins that dance with that individual and they dance together and hopefully they have a good time there. So that's what DNN Open Friday is. It's people helping people around DNN. And I've been able to make great connections there. I've been able to help good people over there. It's usually a very busy time. I try to be very active there. If by any chance there's a question that someone is not getting an answer, I try to go out there. I was a bit slow this past Friday because I was under the weather. Not slow, but I was completely out of commission. But people were there. Thank you very much, guys. And Mike, Joe, you guys have been there quite a lot, so I really appreciate that. And again, if you want to help, or if you want to ask, if you want to answer, if you have questions, just come by. You can go to deskpal.com/open, and then you're going to be able to sign up from there. Why do you need to sign up? Because that's how Slack works. You have to sign up to get access to the Slack channel. Right now, we have about 70 people registered, and we have a good influx of questions. So we have even people, sending me emails mid week saying, "Yeah, I know it's not Open Friday yet, but can you give me a hand with this?" I said, "Hey, okay, I can give you a hand, but ideally wait for Open Friday, and then you're gonna have my full attention over there." So again, very good. I even have people. Someone sent me an email saying, "You know what? We have been able to convince our management to buy Evoke because we were able to prove that the community is very active. There's a vibrant community around the product, and this particular person is a member as well of DNN Open Friday." So again, it's great to see someone like that, talking about those community initiatives, and it's great to be able to help people out there. Mike, how do you feel about what you have been doing there with Open Friday?
I liked it quite a bit. From a couple different standpoints, it's just another avenue to help give back to the community. I struggle personally with trying to balance contributing code versus writing blog posts, and it's a good way to just be able to give a couple hours and help solve some problems for people, which is quite fulfilling. And also at the same time, like you mentioned earlier, it's a good networking opportunity. I've met some people in the community that I hadn't known before, and I've connected since then. So I haven't gone to every single one. There's a couple I missed there, but from when you started, I guess what was last month now, to last week, at least from people participating, it seems like more people are getting involved. So I'd say it's a good initiative.
Joe, what was your take? You were very more active in the last one. What's your take there, Joe?
I can't stay away from these things. It's a character flaw. No, I think any opportunity to help people is one to take advantage of, and one that I want to be involved in. So I guess that's about it.
Yeah, and again, just because it's open for 4 hours, you don't need to stay for 4 hours. You don't need to be all the time talking there. You might come across, a question that, hey, I might be able to give my 2 cents here. I mean, that's my job to be there 4 hours, but not yours. Okay, so again, and again, Scott, don't be shy. Okay, I mean, you are more than welcome. Just drop by and see things around. Okay, just easy.
I think I tried to drop by last time, and I got the time zone difference. I was there at like 2 o'clock in Central or something. But yeah, I made a note of it. It's reoccurring. It's on my calendar now.
Yeah, and again, just drop by for how long, anyone out there, for how much time you have. It might be half an hour. It might be just to check around things. And some of you will be on Slack all the time. So again, you're already there. So you might as well just have a quick peek if you have a chance. I know Slack for some people can be very distracting. I am one of those. I find Slack quite distracting, to be honest. However, during Open Friday, I'm there the entire 4 hours. After that, to be honest, I'm not there at all, unless I really want to check what's going on with one of the many Slacks that I'm part of. But yeah, but to be quite honest, I wasn't able to figure out a better medium, a better platform to do something like that than Slack. So it is Slack for now at this point. Great. So again, come by, drop by, and share, ask and answer. That's it. That's it for events in general. Now I want to play a little bit here. Let's take 4 minutes here to go through the guest fake. I put together another guest fake. This time around, it's about the security analyzer. I don't know if you guys recall, I don't know if you guys have seen before. Hopefully at least you know the concept of one of the many things that the security analyzer does, which is now part of DNN, used to be just an extension that you install. But one of the things that security analyzer does is that it checks a bunch of things on your website, on your DNN website. And there is a big report with many categories there, and saying that you have passed or you have failed or there's an alert. And what I decided to do is I decided to just play a little bit with those options there and see from the 5 options here that I have, which one is not something that is checked within the security analyzer assessment reports. Again, this might be a guess for most of you, because you may have not come across security analyzer too much, but let's see. So again, guess which one of those options is the fake one. So first one, does it check if modules have a header and a footer, or a footer setting? If there's anything on those fields, remember, you go to module settings, and then there's a module header, a footer header. Sorry, not a footer header. A module header and a module footer. This check would check if there's something there, which apparently might be fishy if there's something there. So does it check for that? Second one, does it check whether or not the default.aspx or the default.aspx.cs files have been modified? Ideally, nobody should be touching those files, and it might be dangerous if there is something there on those files. So does the security analyzer check those files if they are the original ones? Third one, does it check whether or not the SQL accounts that is being used to connect with the database, if it has a very high privilege level, if it can do a lot more than what it should be doing? Does it check for that? That's the third one. The fourth one, does it check if a public profile field is using the rich text type of data? Does it check for that? Because rich text, it allows the user to embed a lot of stuff, even maybe some JavaScript there, who knows? But does it check for that? And the last one is, does it check whether or not, I don't know if you guys recall, but there is a custom errors entering the web config, and ideally that should be set to remote only or on. Does it check if it's set for those values or not? So again, 5 options here. I don't know if you guys recall every one of them, but I'm gonna, in edit mode, I'm gonna add the little song here. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, and I'm gonna ask each one of you guys for your opinion. Dun, 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 dun. Top to bottom. Scott, did you come across Secret Analyzer before?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't used it very much.
Got it. That's what I was hoping.
but I understood what you just said, and it seems like everything you said is doable. I'm not quite sure. I want to say the module header and footer may not be the one, even though that's pretty trivial and easy to do. It would be, and it probably would be interesting to know that for every module on the site. Did you inject something into the header or footer? And I could definitely see how that's a security issue, because that is raw text that just gets spit on onto the page. So it could be JavaScript, it could be HTML, it could be anything. But I don't know if it checks for that, so I'm going to say that one, even though it does make sense for it to do that.
Mike?
I'm going to go with that one as well. Option 1, I think, is the fake.
Yeah, got it. And Joe?
My colleagues are both wrong, but could you repeat quickly what the options are?
Okay, so first one, check header and footer of modules. Second one, check if default ASPX and default CS, ASPX.cs are the original ones. 3, the security levels of the SQL user used to connect to the database, is that too high? No? Is that giving too much permission? That's 3. 4, does the public profile of users use a rich text field? Because that can be dangerous, that's 4. And 5, custom errors on the web config, is that set to remote only or on, just to make sure that we are not giving error messages, detailed error message to the visitors there, So those are the 5 ones.
Yeah, number 5.
Good. You did well, Joe. How did you know, Joe?
I cheated.
That's a good way to
That's
do it.
That's not fair.
That's a very at least he had
Had I not cheated, I would have chosen between the sequel and number 5.
Got it. Yeah.
But I guess number 5 really isn't a security issue, so that kind of does make sense. You know what I mean? If you had custom errors set to off, it's not really a security issue, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, the thing that always comes up is that the user profile biography field permits rich text, and if we're gonna flag that one every time as a fail, I think we ought to change the default behavior of that for new installs, so it's not.
I think that was discussed.
Fail the security check.
That was discussed, Scott?
I feel like it was, Mike, like in one of the tag meetings, maybe that was a bug. I don't know. I'm getting confused with the many different meetings, and
I think there was a conversation about the tool in the meeting, but I forget exactly if that was it or not.
Okay, so let me just give the overview of what we are talking about here. Is that it's the fact that if you install DNN out of the box and you run Security Analyzer, it will say right there and then that it has failed because there's one field, the bio field of the user profile is a rich text. So again, how come as soon as we install the bloody thing, it comes already with a warning message? It doesn't make sense. So again, it would be either get rid of the message or get rid of the field, change the field for something else. But yeah, and I thought about mixing that as part of fake, but I said, hey, let me try another angle. So yes, so that's the one. That's the failed one. I don't know if I. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Also on a default 9.2.1 install, I get 2 alerts, 1 check, and 1 fail. The alerts are extra permissions on drives and folders, and the check current SQL account permissions, and that's probably because on my default, on my local machine, I have the what's the SQL super user called anyway? That one.
Sysadmin, yeah.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and I get a check on check for hidden files.
Got it. Yeah,
Uh,
I
but
like the tool in
yeah,
any case.
it may not be bad that when you run the security analyzer for the first time, you do get some things to check because what the heck, it tells you that at least it's working, or at least it's doing something.
I'd like to just give one heads up on the security analyzer tool. I don't know if it does this in the latest version of DNN, but in some previous versions, there were security patches that were delivered to your site by updating the security analyzer. And just by going to the page that the security analyzer is on, it would change your web config and try and patch security issues without even telling you. So if you're running a site and some people I know, put the web config in source control and maintain deployments in different ways, it would actually update the web config on their site live and not give them any indication that they did this. So just a heads up, because you could get out of sync if you're maintaining that other ways.
Yeah, there are other things that change your web.config too that without warning you or doing anything or telling you.
Awesome. Okay, great. So by cheating, Joe is the winner. I should have.
I admitted it.
Yes, I should have reminded that everybody should keep their hands up. In a few months, in a few years, you'll just be talking. Well, you still have to talk anyway.
Well, as I said, without checking, I would have gone with, I think it was it was the one about the SQL account permissions. So I would have also lost.
Yeah, and even the first one, the header and footer of modules. Sometimes I use that for for a little script here and there, but it might be just a warning, just hey. By the way, you have a module that has this or that there, But anyway, good.
The reason I knew it wasn't that one was because I remember checking once, say, what the heck is this all about?
Good. Okay, that was Guess the Fake here. Just want to speed things up a little bit and see if we can conclude this. Mike, I want to jump to you. I haven't gone through your video yet, but I would like to give you a chance to talk a little bit about what we have been, cooking in a way together lately. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I guess, I've been working on a video series for DNN Hero, and it's about module or not just modules, but extension development in general in DNN. But instead of going in and doing walkthrough of, here's how to actually code something, it's more of a high level kind of holistic approach meant for people who may not have any DNN development experience at all, and just kind of talking through some of the concepts, some of the key terminology, some of the things that you should watch out for or that commonly happen during module development. So I think it'd be a really good companion to some of the other great tutorials that are out there. Just kind of framing the whole type of development. I haven't seen a lot of tutorials and they may be out there. I just haven't stumbled across them, but a lot of tutorials or blog posts that just kind of theoretically talk about DNN development. And there's many different components to DNN development. And sometimes, it's not just as black and white as I'm building a module or I'm building a container or I'm building a skin. Sometimes if you're building a really custom solution, part of that solution is all kinds of bits and pieces scattered throughout depending upon what you're building. So it kind of just touches upon these topics and tries to get people in the mind frame of thinking about development from just a more high level global perspective, and then then dive into some of these deeper tutorials to help you figure out how to build modules and skins and that type of thing.
Great. Yeah, that's a great I would say leading video to many of the awesome content and also videos that Scott has done in the past. So it's a broad, as Mike said, an overview that leads you to deeper content like the ones that we have out there with Scott. So again, this will be going live shortly at dnnhero.com, and yeah, looking forward to get this going. Okay, coming towards an end here, just want to briefly mention about the last tips that I have put together. Troubleshooting DNN, I'm going through the symbols files and some of the strategies that I have been using very successfully. Actually, it's a bit of work, but it works quite effectively using the symbols files of DNN to get more detailed troubleshooting information about errors that might be happening on your DNN website. That's one tip that I put out there. And the other one that I put recently is one about testing emails. Maybe you have DNN, a copy of a website running locally or even a server, and you want to see how the emails that are being sent out are looking like, or even if they are actually being sent out. So on this tip, I walk through a little app called how's it called? It's SMTP for Dev. You install on your local system or install on the server, and you adjust the SMTP settings of your DNN site, and this app will capture the outgoing emails, and you will be able to see them right there. Okay, so again, very good to troubleshoot things related to email delivery. Okay, so those were 2 tips. And I want to close with what's new, what's exciting, what's awesome here. And I'm going to start with Scott. Scott, what have you been cooking lately over there? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more with Salesforce lately. So, in fact, later this afternoon, I have to take the developer certification exam as a Salesforce. So, doing more of that, and that's interesting, I guess.
And any hooks back to DNN over there?
In this case, no, because it's a specific, just a Salesforce project, but I've done integration with Salesforce OAuth as a DNN authentication provider, and I've done integrations with Salesforce by querying their API and pulling data. So yeah.
Awesome. That's good. Very good. Mike?
Yeah, I've been very busy lately. For DNN, the video that we just talked about, I've done presentations and things like that, but I've never actually put together a video series. And I was probably a little bit ignorant into how much effort it takes to edit videos and get your content the way it should be. And even I just finished this 2 days ago, I think, and it's like, oh geez, I should have changed it. So that was an awesome experience. And I guess the plus of that now is that I've got templates and experience. I can start to create more training videos and more videos, which I'm looking at doing. One that might be of interest to people is on connectors. So part of, I actually just made, and in the process of finishing making my first contribution to the DNN platform, which is a Google Analytics connector, which should be coming out in DNN 9.3 so that we can change our Google Analytics tracking codes again from the GUI, which that functionality was removed when the Persona Bar came out. So as part of this, I've kind of reverse engineered how connectors, the new connectors extension type works in DNN. So I'm going to put together a video on that in the hopefully the next week or two, and get that out there to assist people in starting to get connectors built.
Awesome. I saw Scott nodding there. Yeah, now he knows how hard it is to put videos together. And maybe Mike is saying, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into, Anyway.
Oh, and I also I want to see that connector video, because I've been toying around with building connectors, but it's such a new concept. So yeah.
Good. Awesome, Mike. Very good. Joe, anything from your side? What's cooking?
Sure, I'll open this one up to travel tips. my wife and I was not here last month because my wife and I were up driving around the Bay of Fundy and seeing New Brunswick and Nova Scotia as a great place to go for a vacation. We spent a lot of time watching the tides go in and out. And if that doesn't sound interesting to you, you should check it out. And I will tell you that a tidal bore is not. DNN-wise, after I got back, I managed to kind of bring to conclusion a couple of large sites that I was working on. So, and I have one major technical challenge that I've been working on for a couple of months that I'm going to be getting some of these guys here to help me if I can't figure it out soon.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we'll talk, Joe, about that. I mean, if that's what you mean, you know, we'll talk.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so just to finalize, my new and exciting thing is I love teaching. I don't know whether or not I'm good at that, but that's a different story. But I love teaching, so I'm going teaching officially now. Actually, I just got the offer. I'll be doing some part-time teaching in a local college here on the computer department, on the computer course, and I'll be teaching things like from project management to agile to object-oriented programming, C#, and yeah, so that's a new. I mean, I'm not abandoning what I'm doing right now. I'm just adding on top of things. But the thing is that a part-time teaching, I mean, will allow the flexibility that I need to keep going on with my personal projects as well. And it's a college that is relatively close by here, so I'm excited to, to get that experience under my belt as well, to do a lot of face-to-face teaching. And yeah, that's what's new, what's exciting for me. Okay, great guys. That's it. I think that we can depart safely. Now, may we meet again at the end of October for our Halloween special. You know, I love the little bets that I don't know if you guys figured out the little bet there, but let me see if I can resize my screen.
Your ASCII bat.
Yeah, yes. So here's my little bet.
I think your next tip should be on creating ASCII art.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you. Do you think that I was the one doing that? I mean, come on, Joe. You go bet.
Yeah, I know.
ASCII.
I know you just copied that from somebody else, right?
I am. You know, the same way as you said that you cheated, I cheated here as well.
Yep.
Anyway, guys.
Well,
again,
I mean, and when we borrow code, is that cheating?
well, it's artistic copy, it's artistic inspiration, let's put it this way, Guys, again, very good.
Absolutely.
Very good having you guys. Again, we talk again at the end of October for our Halloween special. Mike, you're not used to that, but we come properly dressed for our Halloween special, okay?
All right, I'll see what I can drum up.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Bye now.